All right, guys, we are back. We have our final game of the evening, a real late one for all of us on the East Coast, as it is already the next day. So we got Modo facing off against A-MEI-ZING. I need to actually up that, and they're not Taco Team. Thought I turned off the logo. There we go. There we go. All better now. All better now. So we got ourselves hopefully be a good series. Unlike 2+2 and Taco Team, Modo and A-MEI-ZING are much closer in the standings. Modo unfortunately has yet to actually win a series, but they have. Well, I actually don't know if it's been updated yet from previous games, but Modo has had 2 draws and 5 losses. On the other side, we have A-MEI-ZING, who have taken 3 series, 2 draws, and 2 losses. So point wise, it's a pretty big gap, but it should be a closer than the Taco Team in 2+2 games. So let's get on into that draft. Let's see what's happening. Because right now, we're going to be going over to Towers of Doom. So we got the Medivh ban and the Maev ban. Maev was just nerfed, as was Medivh. Medivh a lot less than Maev. I'd say that Medivh, generally wasn't nerfed overall, but Maev maybe not actually needed as a ban anymore. So it'll be interesting how these two prioritize heroes. If you caught the 2+2 interview I did, they were saying that they valued Hanzo highly and no longer do so. They actually don't even consider him really a worthy pick at all. Maybe on something like BOE, or sorry, on a BOE or having a brain fart. First Hello, maybe those are the only 2 maps you'll see Hanzo in for people. Like they'll basically be Vala in terms of like racing. But we have a really crazy pick coming on out from Modo. We got a first pick Chromie. This is juicy. I mean, let's pop on up the poll. I forgot about that bad boy. All right, guys. Who are we expecting to take this game? I mean, we got ourselves A-MEI-ZING, who have been much more amazing in this current season than their opponents, a Modo. Now, all right. Sorry, doing some production simultaneously. So, trying to make everything look good. I've added in a few new bells and whistles and had a few kinks evening with my new bells and whistles. So Chromie is really spicy as a first pick because you can just like build a team to kind of like dive on her and blow her up. Of course, you can get that timeout, 7 seconds of invulnerability. On the other side, we got Genji and Diablo immediately picked up. And Modo is going for Uther and Arthas. They are going for like the super non-meta comp right now. I mean, we got Arthas, Uther. Chromie I'll accept as like a good pick on this map. But like Uther and Arthas, like damn, we going some crazy new choices. The 0.25 seconds on Garage really like ruined him. I don't know. Like I don't think he's been ruined by that. To be fair though, there's a lot of good places for Diablo to actually wallbang someone, and Garrosh is sort of like soft countered by Diablo in certain ways. The same thing with Diablo, like soft countered by Garrosh in other ways as well. The Uther, I wonder if it's more so to prevent them from picking up a D shield Genji for the next game. Now, D shield Genji is pretty good. Now, they could also be opting to do something spicy like D Storm, lock down the Genji, stun, root, and D Storm, and then you have a dead Genji. Now, I wonder if this is because people are looking at Malfurion and Stukov as being the same level as everyone else now, but I don't feel that's necessarily true. Um, I think they're still better than a lot of the other supports. I do think they're, if you will, more viable than they used to be, but I don't think that like you can essentially remove them from the game and say like, oh, this is like one hell of a crappy hero now. Like we don't want to pick them, but obviously we're not going to see Yukov or Malfurion at this point. The Abathur ban, though, I like the Abathur ban because they have a Genji. They could go for the double Genjis. Abathur has shown that, like in the current state of the world of Heroes of the Storm, you can actually have a weird situation of um, you can play solo support Abathur, and Abathur wasn't nerfed. So if anything, Abathur is actually stronger than he used to be, based on the fact that Stukov and Alf were nerfed. Well, no one was really improved, other than maybe Oriel was improved a decent amount, and Ana was improved, but she's still Ana and still not really improved. In certain ways, it actually I remember correctly, some of it seemed like not necessarily an improvement, but regardless, I feel like Abathur ban is really solid. And the Blaze ban makes sense. You need a solo laner. Although Arthas could have been their solo laner. Never know if they're going to plan to play Arthas solo lane. On the flip side, for the pickups here, we got Lunara and Dahaka. This is really nice. I like the Lunara pickup because traditionally, when Uther was played, you'd play Lunara, and Lunara would basically be like, I'm spreading the poison to everyone on your team, and you're Uther. Uther cannot heal everyone on the damn team. Unless they're going to go and do something crazy, like they're essentially debating them into thinking they're going to play a solo support comp, and instead maybe go even double support. And we're going to get the Greymane and a noob. So they are playing the Arthas solo lane. So they essentially did debate them into banning the Blaze. Like they wasted the ban on the Blaze. They pick up a noob, and they could. So they have a lot of options here. They could de-shield the Greymane. They can de-storm the Genji. They can take out Lunara, Diablo, Dahaka, all from the fight. Greymane equals Lunara. They can take out anything right now. So like basically the poison will take down on the cocoon, but they don't have fast auto attacks. The primal swarm can help get them. So we're going to get the Alexstrasza as the final pickup. The problem with this Alexstrasza is more so like that's a great place to drop a D-Storm, a Root, bombs from Chromie, and a Noob's, Burrow. So I'm a little worried about that. Like we saw that essentially to some degree in the previous series with 2+2. So there is some concern there with that Alexstrasza, but they do have a pretty strong draft. I actually like both of these teams' drafts. You have Greymane who can chew on Lunara, so there's a good chance we might see Leaping Strike, so she can herself. There's also a very good chance that we see a D Storm and just to lock down the Genji. Now that's not 100%. Like most likely it'll be a D Shield so that Greymane can go in there completely uncontested, not having to worry about anything in the world. And so that poll is going to be closing up. We had a bunch of people vote on it, and it's actually straight up 50-50 right now with 4 votes. So we'll be getting into this game shortly. Make sure we're actually in here. No more mess ups. Oh, switch. Oh, switch. Okay, there we go. There we go. Having some technical difficulty. God, OBS is not liking life right now. All right, so we got Lightnix on the Thick Alexstrasza. We got Envy on the Dahaka. Nukes for Kids on Diablo. Lasai on the Genji. And finally, we got Kaizen on the Lunara. And that is going to be amazing. And on the other side, we got Zabumafu on the Greymane. Savo on the Noob Arak. Amon on the Uther. We got Bronkar, Dring, and bringing the bombs with the Chromie. And finally, in the top lane, we got Jägermeister on the Arthas. And that is going to be Modo. So, taking a look at the level 1s, we're going to be seeing the Regen Master coming on out, which is interesting because they do have ability damage, but since they are playing double warrior, it's not that much. Savo going on in, not going to really get much out of it. They're going to just be rotating to clear up lanes. In the meantime, we are going to get the Silver Touch. We are getting Wolfheart, the Frost Presence, and the Time Walker's Pursuit. So we're not going to get like the typical kind of like dueling build in a 1v1 situation, because, well, for one, it kind of reduces your team fight potential, and we're seeing him doing perfectly fine without it at this stage of the game. Oh, Bronker going to have to run on out. The slow is not going to be good enough. Savo come on in. Going to be able to burrow on out. Nothing really to worry about right there. So we also got the Circle of Life, enhanced agility, not the tissue regen, which has become significantly more popular. Zabumafu getting chased on down, and it's not going to land. Nice juke from Zabumafu, and he'll be walking away scot-free. And with him losing an entire wave there, Envy, that's not exactly what you want, losing all of that. Nice attempt from Jägermeister to actually stop that rotation, to keep him from getting any of that XP. We do have the camp picked up. Savo, Bronker, and Amon trying to get this pushed on in. It is a 3v3, but Chromie needs CC to help set up. Savo is actually going to be behind the Chromie. Chromie is going to be tanking that for a little bit there. And yeah, so we got the Under King, so they are going to go for the dive. We got the Holy Shock, we got Eyes in the Dark, no choice yet from Arthas. We do have the Bronze Talons, and we finally get the Prozone Waste. We have Lasai sending on over, and he does have the Agile Dismount, allowing him to jump really far and have the reduced cooldown while he's mounted. Additionally, he's actually going to be picking up the Shuriken Mastery, trying to chew through probably the health pool of both Anub and Arthas. The problem with the Shuriken is that once Army of the Dead comes out, the Army of the Dead is going to be blocking the Shurikens. Unless he goes for piercing at level 20, if the game goes that far. We also have the Exuberance from the Shadows, Shuriken I already said, Nimble Wisp, and we now also have the Dragon's Eye. The Dragon's Eye is interesting because this is a lot easier to set up due to the combo of CC. The top is going to be traded out pretty easily. Jägermeister pushing on and actually getting what I'd consider the winning trade in this situation, but they do not actually secure bottom. Not really risking it at this point. I'm not quite sure why they didn't push in a little bit more. There's just something for News for Kids. The overpower Salvo should be able to get out of here without any problem. And a whole lot of nothing. We now have they're now going to actually have a rotation from Arthas, the dual soak, which is interesting. And Envy's actually burned his Z. I'm not sure how I feel about this because he's going to be down for a while with that Z, and they might need it for a rotation, like let's say they want to invade the camp or something like that. They're not going to have that available at this point. And Arthas is going to just be letting this lane push in so it can build up in the meantime. There's the invade, and Envy doesn't have his burrow, or shouldn't have his burrow quite available yet. Amon in a really bad position. Nukes for kids, gets to overpower. Oh, the Dragon's Breath doing so much damage, but Lasai with the grab from Envy, they rotate him on in, and they get themselves the first kill of the game. All right, so they didn't need the burrow as Amon just walks on up towards really Envy. He didn't have much in ways of go, but I think going bottom would have been his best bet as his team was more circled around there. So those sappers are going to get decent value. They take down a tower immediately, which opens up this bot lane, which will, cause it to push on it. Envy should have up his burrow once again, and there they go, trying to body him. They already have someone channeling. Salvo should be able to interrupt this real easily. Nukes for kids actually just walking into Bronker. And Salvo is going to have to burrow on out. He does have that extra range. Zabu Mafu is going to be getting on out. But the slow from Chromie and the slow from Arthas. This is slow city, but it's not going to matter. He just manages to survive Salvo. But they're going to lose this objective. Now, the best thing happened for Modo is that no one died there. And, they are getting a decent soaking from Envy. He's now back on up there. There is a big wave top. It's not going to really matter as both Arthas and Envy are rotating on up there. Now, once again, they are picking up some more sappers. They're getting some really solid control of the bot lane. In general, this used to be significantly easier to control bot lane because of how short the respawn times used to be. And they're now going to be able to get themselves a second tower. They only have Amon sitting here. This is a little strange. Like, your support is the worst person possible to soak a lane and, defend it. Salvo going to take some free damage there. This is a 3v2 for now. We got Bronker coming on in. The damage from Bronker will be enough to help, stop these sappers. And Lasai is coming on in. He's jumped on in and trying to get that shuriken, overpower Salvo. The cleanse, but Salvo actually unburrows. But Lasai comes on in trying to secure the kill, and it's not going to matter as nothing really happens there. Lots of cooldown Jews, but nothing secured. But they do have Lunara sitting in this bush. So the bad news is they have Greymane and Arthas top. They're going to have to sacrifice one. They can hold out, to delay for a little bit because this rotation is going to take about 10 seconds, and they will have better position, and they should theoretically be able to, get bottom. But Envy's going to have to make the choice if he stops this or if he burrows on in. There's, slowing sands onto the Genji. There they go with the burrow, but it's not going to connect. Nukes for kids. Blasting Jägermeister. The nuke is going to be going down. The APOC coming on out. Not going to do enough. And finally, another route. The D shield has been used. Lasai's back on in it. The cocoon doing so much. No Lunar. Oh, the Dragon's Breath connecting with two. Say goodbye to Lunara. And they are pushing on in, but they are super low. They need to back on out. Lasai going to get the kill on Arthas. Salvo. There's reset. Reset. Oh, Lasai popping on off now. Getting those resets. Amon has nothing. The timeout, and it's not going to be enough for them to actually take these objectives. We're going to go and take a look at that again. If replay system works it correctly, you can see that they come on in, get that big Dragon's Breath. They already took down the Diablo. They push on in over aggressive. You can see Greymane has absolutely no life. And they technically don't have enough life. They should just walk on back and, tap before they tried to take the objective. All their health pools collectively were, really low. Right. So we're back, and we still have the bottom. Salvo, though, is going to be going down in the meantime. And okay, once again, OBS acting up. Okay, I'll need to fix those things. Make sure it actually works appropriately. Some messed up OBS. So they take the bottom after all of that. They're down to 20 versus 36. They feed them on in with the kills. They now get sappers once again. And taking a look at the talents, we do have that subterranean shield. We have the hand of protection. We have the cocoon, the D shield, the cursed bullet, army of the dead, slowing sands. Nothing out of the ordinary there. We have the wizened duelist, icebound fortitude, and the time out. Other side, Nukes has no one there to help him. They'll be able to clear this up pretty freely as Genji and Alex Strasser are sitting mid. And Wizened Duelist stacks get him stack up as much as he can while he can for the next objective. There's the burrow from Salvo, and the overpower into the knockback. Not going to connect with the Vol, and Greymane going to chunk through Lunara's health pool just a little bit. Not staying too long to ensure that he wins that trade. On the other side, we have the Life, Unbound, the Ferocious Stalker, Greater Spell Shield, and finally Shingon and Devastating Charge, as to be expected. So, other side, the Acid Drenched Mandibles, which is going to be insane because of how many slows they have. The Spell Shield, Salvo going to burrow on out. Lasai coming on in with that Cyber Agility. The grab, the cleanse being used, not really needed, but just to play it safe. And there they go. The Protected, by the way, has been used. And this is a one cap. They're falling behind, but they still have plenty of, gas in the engine here on the side of Modo to potentially come. Lasai coming on in the backside. The APOC going to connect with no one. There's the burr onto Genji. We have the cocoon being used. However, Amon using the D shield on himself. Envy is super low. Double root. And in the backside, Zabu Mafu will be going down. The two tanks trying to survive. There is the trap and dropping the damage. Chromie helps get that kill as the team cannot get to Genji to save him. However, Kaizen is starting to channel, and it is a 4v4 still. There's the interrupt. No! Just not in time. A brief second, a quarter of a second, and Salvo landing a big stun. The stun against the wall, though. Nukes cannot escape due to Arthas, and that is now a 2-for-1. The grab, however, Salvo gets that stun. He will be able to burrow on out. And this is a little window, a little breathing room for them to try to recuperate from, the beating they've been sustaining in terms of this objective. The problem, though, is like getting the objective is ultimately how you win this game. Like 100%, you can't just kill people, take structures, and just win the game in march to core. You need to actually channel. So the good news is they're on the way to 16 first. Chromie is at 40 stacks, and once she hits 60, it's going to be a lot better. Also, we have 15 out of 20, and once the 20 hits, it's going to be really big. There are 4 members down here. The Nub is not here. Arthas is coming on down. Oh yeah, he'll actually decide to rotate, stay in mid, and soak that up. They do have Chromie who can hit this for free. We do have the time markers completed, no regen master yet. Unfortunately, when you do this as a Chromie, you create this situation where you can't get globes and you're actually giving it to the enemy team. And Salvo needs those globes to make regen master, really, really useful. Because it's the 500 health that's going to be the most useful of pretty much all the benefits. 16 around the corner, and we're going to have both top. Sapper is trying to be cleared up by Jagermeister. And, all right, we got the triple cap, or the mid. Mid is going to be channeled pretty much for free. We have actually a trade. There's a stun onto Amon, and a follow-up stun by Salvo and the hammer of ass whooping. There comes the D shield. Salvo has nothing to fear right now, but another stun from Nukes for Kids, and Jaegermeister and Salvo, they're trying to escape right now. The slowing sands peeling as well as it can, but the overpower onto Savo coming on back. The X strike hitting so many members, and they'll trade out 1-for-1 right now. So the health pools are too low. Bronker trying to get on in there. This is super dangerous. We got Zabamafu coming on in, and he will be a Genji annihilate as he executes him with a swift strike. Now, this is really bad. Really, really bad for Modo. It's 16 versus 16. They're down 2 members, in part due to the extra aggression there, where Greymane really didn't need to like try to feel out if he can get a kill there. But looking at the 16s and that were picked up, we had the Epicenter, the Benediction, the Executioner, the Remorseless Winter, and the Quantum Overdrive. If there's ever a time for them to power spike, it is now, with Executioner on top of all those slows. They've spotted him out. They're going to rotate on in, but Amon is separated from Savo. They're not going to be able to get this right now. Nukes for Kids rotating in. We got Bronker on the other side, the Burrow on out, and technically Bronker can fight from this angle. He should have been trying to fight. It lands on Lasai, and they will have to just clear up the cappers nonetheless. Oh, there's the charge. Nukes for Kids gets the overpower. Zabumafu has been absolutely mind erased as he's been banged against the walls, stunned out of his mind, and Diablo basically getting a little help from his friend called, Alex Straza. This is really, really bad now. The bottom is going to be taken. The good news is that it's top overpower. Another charge on back. Bronker gets the G shield. He will be running on out. That is the only silver lining, is that they don't lose any more during this. Now, like my chat is saying, slow fights are great because they have a Li Ming. A-MEI-ZING getting so much damage. The APOC coming on out, not going to be enough. But Jägermeister, Savo, they are going to be going down here. The body silence onto Bronker is going to be enough. There's the timeout. Trying to time it. Envy taking a ton of damage, but it's not going to matter because A-MEI-ZING have just taken this pretty convincingly and pretty easily, in my opinion. So let's take a look at some of these DPS numbers. Lunara, Genji. Lunara had 53k, almost 15k more than Chromie. Genji had another 7k more. Like, the damage numbers are just nowhere in line. And then the same with the Uther pick. 23,000 more healing from Alex Straza. They just couldn't keep up. This is why the Uther pick was so strange. They didn't do anything out of the ordinary because they opted for the D shield, but then no D storm to like help lock down the Genji instead, which means that like Uther felt out of place because he's so easy to punish from AoE damage, which is where the Lunara pick was so absolutely brutal. And yeah, they needed a win 16 versus 15 as well, and that didn't happen, unfortunately. The game wasn't terrible in terms of like kills, a little bit back and forth. The problem was they always were losing the fights in a 2-for-1 favor for A-MEI-ZING. So even if you're getting kills, it wasn't enough. Like, Arthas couldn't sustain through all the damage that was being taken. Nuke for Kid just wall banging all day. I mean, he's definitely seen some mosh pits there. And the problem, though, were most of the APOCs actually didn't do anything or land, so they were essentially zoning APOCs. That's the only thing Nukes for Kids needs is some better APOCs, but otherwise, like, getting those angles for hitting them into the walls, perfect. I mean, Greymane was erased, as you saw earlier. So we'll be getting into game number 2. Sit on tight. We're going to be taking a look at the replays of last game and